Hey everyone, it's Eagle of Zeus here, and in this video I just wanted to talk about how my practice has changed um from when I first started out to now. Because I've been a Hellenic Polytheist for 6.5 years now, and I was just thinking recently how my practice has changed, or at least the main ways it's changed from when I first started out to now. And I just thought it would make a good topic for a video. So I made some notes, just listing at least the major differences between my practice back when I first started out to now. And I just wanted to read them and kind of talk about the major differences I've noticed uh, from 6.5 years ago to now. I mean, obviously, I can't list every little change I've had in my practice over the years, but I would say these are the main ways my practice is different from 6.5 years ago to now. So I would say the number one main difference is when I first started out, I was really crazily strict recon. I was like a really strict reconstructionist. I wanted to do everything exactly the way the ancients did, and I was afraid of making any sort of mistakes. And if I did make a mistake, I was really hard on myself about it. And yeah, I was really strict recon when I first started out. I thought I had to do everything the way the ancients did and stuff like that. So that's probably the number one difference. And also, when I first started out, I actually relied more on mythology. Like, mythology was a bigger part of my practice because that's pretty, me, like most people, that's how I was introduced to the Greek pantheon and basically the religion kind of is through Greek mythology. So I was more in, I mean, I'm still into Greek mythology, but it was like a bigger part of my practice back then. Like, I kind of believed it more. I mean, I was never a mythical literalist, but I kind of did see more truth in the myths than I do now. And I would always try and figure out how myths could be possible or something. I don't know. I would always like um I don't know. I would always just overthink about it for some reason. I think a part of me wanted the myths to be true because like I said, I was always really into mythology as a kid and growing up, and I still am now, but not in the same way, I guess. um like it was a bigger part of my practice back then. But anyway, so that's another difference. And one difference I noticed I did is back when I first started out, I used to make turnips the way, well, a lot of people still make them this, where they take the water, they put the salt, and then they extinguish either a bay leaf or some other type of herb in it. I used to make turnips like that, but I don't anymore, which I'm first, I should have said this at the beginning, but the first part of the video, I'm listing all the ways my practice was back when I started, and then after I'm done, I'm going to list all the ways that it is now. So these are all the ways that it was back then. So yeah, but that's how I used to make turnips back then. My turnips was but like I said, a lot of people still do this where they take the water and the salt and the, anyway. But yeah, that's how I used to do it. And then I used to try, I used to actually, no, I used to make myself kind of in a way do two rituals a day, one in the morning and one at night, because of something, I want to say it was Hesiod. It was in his book about how you need to do a ritual. Well, I don't. The thing is, I don't think he said ritual. I think he said prayer. But in my mind, that meant a big elaborate ritual. I had to do that every day in the morning and at night because I think he says something like the gods won't listen if you don't like do that twice a day, like once in the morning, once at night. If you don't do a ritual or pray, then they won't listen to you or something. I don't know, but that that quote kind of stuck with me, and I felt like I had to do a big elaborate ritual, two every single day, one in the morning and one at night. So I kind of pushed myself to do that every day, like at my altar with offerings and everything every single day, twice a day. So that's something else I did when I was first starting out. And as far as who I honored during my rituals, during the morning ritual, I would honor. Well, I think when I first started out, I was trying to do like a couple Olympians a day. Like I would focus like on a different Olympian or maybe two a day. And I think shortly, like maybe only like a week or two after doing that, I switched to honoring like all of the Olympians. And I think I would also honor Helios and Hemera during the morning. And then at night, I would honor Hades, Nyx. I think I was also honoring Selene because at the time I thought she was a chthonic goddess, even though she's not, but I thought she was at the time, so I was honoring her with the chthonic gods. Um, yeah, so those are the deities I honored during my morning and nightly rituals. And something else I did back then, because I was trying to be as traditional as possible, was I would keep a candle on my altar all the time, but I wouldn't keep it lit all the time. I would only light the candle during rituals. But what I would do is I would switch it out for like an LED candle, like an electric candle. Which, if you go to my early videos, like showing my very first altar, you'll see that that LED candle I'm talking about that I would always keep on my altar on, like turned on all the time when I wasn't doing a ritual. Um, so yeah, that's something else I did back then that I don't do anymore. Um, and the gods I was closest with back when I first started out was Zeus, Apollon, Aphrodite, Athena, and Dionysos. Those were the gods I was like closest with when I first started out 6.5 years ago. And yeah, so basically, I was a lot more nervous and kind of scared back then, and I was really overwhelmed by everything. Like, I think most are when they first join the religion. They're very overwhelmed. There's so much to learn, and I just remember, yeah, being really overwhelmed, especially like with the calendar and the festivals and just everything. I was like really overwhelmed and kind of more nervous and scared of doing things wrong, stuff like that. So, and also I was also really like, I don't know, I felt like I needed to know everything. Like I needed to know everything. Like I was saying earlier about how I would like overthink about like myths, like I would overthink about it, about how it was possible. Like I felt like I needed to know like how everything was possible, or I don't really know how to put it into words, but I would overthink everything, and I felt like I needed to know like just how everything worked, I guess. I don't know, or how everything was possible. Like questions that we're never going to know the answer to. And I was really strict, hard polytheist back then. Like, I viewed all the gods as separate individual gods, and I didn't like synchronization and stuff like that because in my mind back then, I was like, how can this be possible? You know, like, I would just overthink everything back then for some reason. So, yeah, so that's how my practice was when I first started 6.5 years ago. And now now 6.5 years later, I'm more revivalist. I'm not a strict recon anymore. I'm more revivalist. I still do some things in the recon way and stick to the traditional way for some things, but I'm not afraid of modernizing things now and just like doing things my own way. Uh, and I'm not afraid of making mistakes anymore because we're all mortal. We all make mistakes. So I'm definitely not afraid of making mistakes anymore. And like I said, I just do things my own way. If it feels right to me, then I do it. I don't feel like I have to stick to the traditional way, the way the ancients did. So, yeah. And like I mentioned about the mythology, mythology isn't a big part of my practice anymore. To me, it's just entertaining stories now that we can learn from. Lots of good lessons in mythology. And I do believe there's some truth in mythology, like they all originated from some truth. But I don't, they're just stories to me now, and I don't overthink about like how can they be possible, or how, I don't overthink about them, or like want them to be real or whatever. I just, to me, they're just stories now. And yeah, the Kernips thing, like I started talking about before, with the Kernips. So I mentioned how I used to make the Kernips how most people do, with the water and the salt and extinguishing a bay leaf or other leaf or herb in it. But I don't do that anymore. Literally now all I do is just wash my hands and face in the sink with soap and water. Because and honestly, I started not feeling like I had to do like the fancy Kernips anymore, because I actually read that they only did that at the temples anyway. When the ancients would go to the temples, they would wash their face and arms with seawater, which had salt in it, and maybe sometimes they would extinguish a leaf in it, maybe a bay leaf. I think I've also read verbena leaves too. But most likely at home, they most likely just washed their arms and face in the same water that they washed their hands in. So I stopped, being real strict about the Kernips, like needing it to be like the fancy Kernips. So I literally just wash my arms and my hands and my arms and my face in the sink with soap and water. So that's my Kernips now. Uh, and as far as doing the rituals in the morning and at night, I literally just do like like a what they call an informal prayer, where you just, it's not like a formal prayer where you go to your altar and you give offerings and stuff. I literally just, I wake up, I go in the bathroom, I brush my teeth, I get ready for the day, and I just say a quick good morning prayer to the gods. And that's it. And I do the same thing at night before bed. I get ready for bed and I say a quick prayer to the gods before bed. Um I do try and do at least one ritual at my altar every day and give an offering, but I I normally end up just doing that on my day off from work, because I work in the morning. So I don't really have time to do it before I leave for work, and by the time I get home I'm usually too tired. So, but sometimes I do a ritual at my altar after I get home from work, but most of the time I just do that on my days off. And the gods that I honor during my rituals at my altar are the 12 Olympians and Dionysus, since for me the 12th Olympian is Hestia in my personal practice. So I honor Dionysus separately. So the 12 Olympians, Dionysus, Hecate, Persephone, and then Helios. And then if it's during the day or the morning, I honor Hemera and Eos. And if it's during the evening or the night, I honor Selene. So those are the deities I honor like daily at my altar when I do my daily rite at my altar. And then something else that I do now is um I just observe like the when it comes to the Attic calendar, and the festivals, the monthly festivals, I only like observe the ones that I feel the need to observe. Like I used to try and like observe every single festival, but now I mainly just observe the ones that I feel like observing or that I feel the need to observe. I at the very least I try and do like Hecate's Deep Non, Nominia, and the Agathos Daimon. But as far as the other festivals go, I only observe the ones that I feel the need to observe. I don't uh, stress myself out over trying to observe every single festival. So that's another difference. And also now I feel like instead of being more into mythology, I'm more into philosophy now. I Philosophy is a big part of my practice now. I I follow the teachings of Pythagoras and Plato, uh, primarily, but I like to learn from all the philosophers really. I'm not like a strict Neoplatonist or like a strict Pythagorean. Like Pythagoras and Plato are the two main philosophers that I learn from and follow their teachings, but I I like to learn from all the philosophers of ancient Greece, and I also practice Stoicism as well. Is another philosophy I practice is Stoicism. So yeah, I'm more into philosophy now than I was when I first started out. So yeah, in a way, I guess I kind of traded mythology for philosophy, and the gods I'm closest with now are mainly Zeus, Apollon, Hecate, and Artemis are like my main gods that I'm closest with, but also still Aphrodite, Dionysos, and Persephone as well. I still do feel close with them as well, but the main deities that I'm closest with are Zeus, Apollon, Hecate, and Artemis. So yeah, Zeus and Apollon have not changed. They've pretty much been my main gods since I first started, or even before I became a Hellenic polytheist. They were my main deities during like my Wiccan days too. So to sum it all up, I'm definitely more laid back and relaxed now than I was, and I don't think too hard about things. I don't overthink about stuff, about like the nature of the divine in the universe, or like I don't feel the need to know everything or to know like how everything is possible or how everything works, or like I don't overthink about things. I just like it's questions that we're never going to know the answer to. So why overthink about it? I just, don't think about that sort of stuff. I mean, the like all I know is the gods are real and the divine is real, and there's more to, there's more out there that we can't explain, I guess. And that's it. I don't try and think about uh the specifics or the details about it because we're never going to know that. So why try and or why overthink about it? So yeah. And now I don't like I said in a previous video, I don't use the labels soft or hard polytheist. I'm just kind of in the middle, I guess. I'm kind of in the middle of being a soft and hard polytheist. So I'm not a strict hard polytheist like I was when I first started out. So yeah, I guess that's about it. I guess that pretty much ends the video. So you can see how I've changed a lot since I first started out on this path 6.5 years ago. Um, yeah, so I've learned a lot definitely during my 6.5 years following this path. I've definitely learned a lot. Uh, but yeah, there's always more to learn, so I'm always learning new things. So yeah, I guess that's about it. So yeah, like I said, I guess that's about it. So I will see you guys in the next video, and may the gods bless you all. Bye.